Thanks, Marshall. Welcome, everyone, to today's Q&A. My name's Gary Gurr. I'm a data analyst, and driving for us today is Matt Clark. And don't have a lot of announcements, but just want to thank everyone and congratulate everyone for the Fall 1 submission. Very good job. Everyone made it, so we're looking pretty good there. For Fall 2, we're fast and furious on that. The deadline is February 28th, and there is no amendment window for that. And as part of the milestones, they're hoping everyone can have all of their Fall 2 errors completed by February 7th. That way it gives you a lot of time to go over your reports and checking for accuracy for that. And really, that is all the announcements we have. There was an email that went out pretty much saying the same thing from the CDE. And Matt's showing you that right now, but talking about the deadlines and the February 7th milestone. So just kind of repeating myself, but that went out earlier this morning from the CDE. And Angela, do we have any updates on what went in yesterday or?
Yeah, we are up to date on the active and fixed known issues list, Matt, if you wanted to navigate to that. So the ones that have a 128 date are the ones that went in yesterday.
So we keep adding them and we keep fixing them. That's just standard process.
It's like those wheels you buy for cats, for the hamsters.
Yep. And I don't think anyone from CD had any announcements, but if you do, go ahead and speak up.
No,
We
sir.
have Sean and Dominic here.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
now I'm good too. Thank
All
you.
righty. So if you're new here, this is how this works. We ask that you type your questions into the Q&A box, not the chat box. Some folks may be looking at the chat box. A lot of times we put links and stuff in there, but we're not answering questions from the chat box. We ask that you keep your questions brief and to the point, and then also that you number them Q1, Q2, Q3 if you have more than one question. By putting the Q1, Marshall says that helps him index something when he's recording, and then we have all these recorded on a YouTube page that you can go back and look at later. Yeah, so keep the questions brief and to the point. Don't give us like 3 pages of a problem. Those are better served in a service ticket. And if you do ask a question that's already in a service ticket, we'd rather you just continue to work with the service desk agent on that ticket so we don't duplicate our efforts. I think that's it. I think I'll go ahead and get started on the
I did
questions.
have something,
Oh, go ahead, Angela.
Gary. Yeah, Doug reminded me in the chat. So we did launch a new feature. It's on if you go back to CalPADS Nat under extracts,
Oh, yeah.
and if you go to ODS extracts, I think all of them have it, and just pick one. It's probably be beneficial for new LEAs. There's that new button there that says email me the results when the file is ready. So if you're a large LEA and it takes, more than 5 minutes, that's a nice feature to have. So you don't have to sit there and keep refreshing the screen.
Yeah, it worked really good. I did one in staging for LA Unified, and usually it takes quite a while, and it was kind of nice. Email popped up, and I was like, hey, could work on other things while I'm waiting for that.
Yeah, and I think it includes a link. So even if you
Yes,
are,
yes.
yeah, you can just directly go to that page via the email. Thank you for the reminder, Doug.
Okay, spin my page here. Okay, I have a Q1 from Natasha. Is there a way to enter status data for a student via online maintenance? My SSID was accidentally merged by another LA, and I'm needing to recreate historical data for my new SSID. Status data, I believe so.
Yes. Just like all the other records, there's an add new record button at the top right if you're in online maintenance.
On the right side.
I don't want you to pull anybody up, Matt, because you're probably in production. But yeah, just expand the STAS container and there'll be an add new record button.
Okay. Next Q1 is from Donovan. Regarding parent participation as a field in CalPads, will a no response selection cause errors during fall 1 into year 4, specifically the parent involvement facilitation code field in the meet records?
No response won't cause any errors. It just, you have to have something in there, yes, no, or a blank. And as Audrey pointed out, no response doesn't count in the numerator or denominator for the indicator. There's no negative impact for a no response answer.
And thank you, Audrey. Audrey's our backup CSIS CDE employee, I think. Question 1 from Chris. Is there a way to report to CalPads that students in a middle school course, such as Spanish and algebra are receiving high school credit?
No, but we don't need it though either. That's something that's going to be, it's for your local purposes, for transcript purposes.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
Question 1 from Rebecca. Any updates on when the TOL flash will be released?
Maybe.
So just so you know, Sean, I have two tickets from Rebecca that I'm sitting on. I just was hesitant to answer until I read that. I haven't seen a draft of it yet.
And by TOL, we mean the teacher on leave, right?
Yeah,
Okay. I
yes.
just wanted to make sure y'all know I'm not good at acronyms. So, I think maybe I was hoping for this week, Rebecca. I really was. I was hoping for last week. Okay. But now my as of this morning, my hope is for next week, for it to get out. I don't think it'll get out by Friday. It's already Wednesday, so I don't think everyone will have enough time to finalize edits. So I'm hoping by maybe we'll have that announcement for the top of Wednesday's call to say that it's going out or it has gone out.
Great. Is it still 5 pages?
Yeah.
Okay. We're looking forward to it.
A chart and everything too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Q1 from Jerry. Hi, Gary. Hi, Jerry. I hope all is well. I have a question regarding the LEA context on the CSIS web page. What is the most efficient way to get this updated if we notice any errors for our LEA? Is there someone specific we can submit a request to? I think we just put in a service ticket, right? And then someone grabs
Yes,
that.
but we should put it in the CSIS services. So Matt, if you go back to there you go. So you're at csis.ficmat.org under support and contact us, and then get help on CSIS services. Just fill that out for that form out, and it'll go into our CSIS service desk, and it usually takes less than a day for us to get that page updated.
Jerry, when I say it took me like 3 years to figure that out, it took me 3 years to figure it out.
It shouldn't be that buried. I mean, was it hard to find, Sean?
Hard to find, but like I put in a support ticket and they were like, put in a CSIS support ticket. And I was like, great, if I knew how to do
What's the
that, don't you
difference?
think I would have put one in?
It is the same people, but different services.
I know.
Click on the homepage again, Matt. If you go back to the homepage, I want to say, there we go. We did add a bubble at the bottom. We tried to put the most commonly hit screens right there on the front page. So the number one page that is hit with the most often is the Find LEA contacts, but contact support is right there on the front too.
Q1 from Rebecca. The other Rebecca. Is there a more formal explanation of a day-to-day sub-teacher permanent employee as outlined in the user's manual of the Fall 2 roadmap, which states to use the 6014 for a permanent employed substitute who is not currently assigned to any course section? And there's a link. I checked the code sets for the non-classroom based or support assignment for the code 6014, and it states a staff member permanently employed by a local education agency that is temporarily assigned to teach classes while a permanent teacher is either out on leave or is yet to be hired. This definition differs from the teaching scenario on the Fall 2 roadmap. Our department heads asked for more explicit definition, but I was not able to locate anything in the data guide, EdCode, or the CDE website. This leaves it open for interpretation, and this is a concern because permanent day-to-day subs would be eligible for benefits, but I was told they are like at-will subs who are called on if needed at any site or the same site all year if a principal so desires and the sub agrees. I also looked on the CTC website for an explanation, but no luck.
I don't even know how you saw that because mine cut off.
Yeah, I think hers did too because she had to complete it on another line.
Oh, that no, I don't even see the other line. But either way, okay, so Rebecca, thank you. Um, if you're for the fall two is correct. If they are a day-to-day sub teacher, permanent employee, okay, that's key to note. If they're just that day-to-day sub and they don't have a course, they're not they're not the teacher of record for so. I really question why you're reporting them for CalPADS purposes. I heard you speak about, I can't see all of the question because mine literally cuts off of will subs who, is the last thing I see.
Ah,
So if you, for those that, she mentioned something about they get benefits, right? And that's for PERS reporting. That's not for CalPADS reporting is the point that I want to arrive at though. And so knowing distinguishing between your HR reporting and what needs to be reported for CalPADS for CalSAS and TAMO purposes, that's going to be key. Also, again, is your HR, will they get I don't know. This is a question, will they get a misassignment for reporting such a teacher, or will that need to go before your authorizers at the county office there? Again, those are questions that you want to be able to have though at the local level. I understand that they're asking your HR is asking you these questions, but I think more conversations just need to be had around it. Again, for CalPADS purposes, you're reporting specifically like your teachers of records and those that are filling actual like service positions. Again, if that substitute is a permanent hire, they have a contract with your LEA, for the year, which sometimes happens. Great. Then yeah, go ahead and report them. And yes, you would report them under the fall to guidance.
okay. All right, Q1 from Jennifer. What's problem 7092 fix implemented? It's not listed under the recently fixed issues, but you ran a fall one ODS 8.1 and the Filipino rollup looks correct now. I know the snapshot was correct all the time. It was just the ODS that had the issue. I'm the one that escalated that.
Yeah, I'm just following up on that. They didn't fill out the problem ticket correctly, so I think it was included in yesterday's release. So I'm double checking, and if so, we'll get that updated this afternoon.
Great. Q1 from Cheryl. I just found a SWS student that did not trigger any fall errors, but has been enrolled with us since August. Now he is in the data discrepancies for end of year 4 with an SCNR 0606. He was never in any other report to indicate we missed adding him to our SPED system. What would cause this?
Cheryl, it's hard to say in this forum with limited information. Please send in a ticket. You can put my name on it, and we can take a look at the record and see what might have happened.
Great.
And
Dominic?
sorry to piggyback off of Dominic. I just replied back to Rebecca, and I asked the same thing. I was like, if you can please send a ticket because I can't. The question cuts off like halfway through for me, so I still can't see
Okay.
everything.
Okay, great. Question one from Carla. I am getting a fatal error missing non-classroom based assignment or course section record for 2 staff members that are on leave. Okay, this is the one that the flash is going to cover, the 5-page flash. They don't have courses because they are at the district office. Per CalPADS, we need to add an additional non-classroom based assignment, or our HR department is asking what FTE should be for the additional non-classroom based job assignment and which code to include for them, as they are already being reported as a 60/18 at 100%. So you have you can put up to 200%, but you don't have to add additional FTE. You just have to add another non-classroom based job assignment. But which one to use, it depends on what their job is.
I'm gonna go, but I got questions on why they at the district office. They don't have courses because they're at the district office. And so if they're teachers at the district office, that sounds like a TOSA to me, and not a classroom teacher providing instruction. So that was where I stopped at like the sentence two, because I was like,
Okay.
I'm not too sure.
So if they're a TOSA, isn't that a 60/24, I think?
Yeah, so they would be coded differently. They'd be coded with a non-classroom based assignment though, and then they wouldn't have Carla, go ahead and put it in a C2 so I can see the
60/28.
yeah, thanks, Shadira. Carla, go ahead and put in a ticket for me, please. And can you include the teacher seat numbers? That'd be great. And for the FTE, you would put whatever the FTE is, and that's in flash 240, 293. Is that the last flash? Yeah. Yes. So you just put in whatever their FTE would be if they were there.
Okay, question one from Larnie. For fall 2, we are able to submit the 10/9s for college courses taught by the college professor. On the other hand, it is my understanding that we cannot submit college courses classes that students have taken from the community college. Can we reconcile these guidance? How are the course codes 90/20, 90/82 college credit courses related to this? Do we have a flash or documentation explaining about the no submission of college classes not provided by the LEA? Thought you could put college courses in. You just use the 10/9s for the professor or the.
That's correct. You use the all nines, but again, that's if the college has an association with your LEA. Okay, and so yes, Larnie, to answer your question, we have a flash on that. I don't recall what number it is. It's last year's. That much I do remember. Where it's easier for me to find it, Matt, is the technical guide, the CCI mini guide. And because we wanted that information to go both. And it states it there, though, Larnie, that they must have some type of association with the higher institution must have some type of association with the LEA, meaning you have to have some type of agreement in place in order for that to occur, for you to report for. So those are basically courses then that the LEA is offering regardless of location. We're not asking if it's occurring at your site or if it's occurring over at the college. That's not part of CalPADS reporting. But if it has that association with it, then yes. And so Matt, if you go down, oh yeah, you got it. There you go. And then honestly, if you just control F and then I type in dual enrollment, because that's what it was formerly called. And you're gonna look for there you go, right there. That's where it says it.
Thank you, Rebecca, for coming through with the dashboard technical.
Yes, thanks. Q1 from Catherine. Can you help us understand what is causing the SDEMS 684, our favorite error, and the changes that have taken place this year concerning teachers on leave? And that's what the 5-page flash that's coming out will be discussing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how we want to go into more detail on that because we've talked about it already.
I'm just leaving it up because the next question also asks about it.
Rebecca is saying, strange thing, we have one of these errors that exists as of yesterday, but did not exist on her frozen reports from the 25th.
I just pulled up your frozen copy, Rebecca, and I do see that staff member on there with that error.
Yeah, it's been around.
Oh yeah, it's a popular one.
It's our favorite one now. And Carla says they just happen to be at the district office for that one. But Sean asked to put a ticket in so we can investigate further.
Your district shouldn't have courses or class. That's the part I don't understand. You may need to provide their job description then, Carla, because there's a disconnect somewhere.
And is just giving some information. If someone was asking about the 16.14 showing individual student names. I'm not sure what this is a reference to. Oh, you're helping out with a question on the SWS. Thanks. Q2 from Natasha. I know the SDEM 0689F2 is listed as fixed as of yesterday, but I'm still getting several for staff who do not have a demographics line, do not have a demographics line for this academic year. This is showing up on my data discrepancies that ran just about an hour ago. Should this be happening? Is this the one Alex was talking about yesterday? I think they need to have an updated SDEM record now so we can get the correct years of service.
293.
Yeah, that's a different one, Gary.
Oh, that's a different one. Sorry.
So bonus points for putting your district in your name there, Natasha. So the first one I looked up is a valid error. What's happening is they have a 24-25 assignment record. I'm sorry. Nope. Speaking out of turn. Try a different one. Okay, yeah, here it is. So they don't have any assignment records, but their employment end date is empty for Escondido Union. So go find the most recent Escondido staff demographic record and make sure that the employment end date is populated. I do recommend that you do that locally though, and then send up a new staff demographic file. Otherwise, any changes you make in online maintenance could get overwritten the next time you post an SDEM file.
Okay. And Natasha mentions that was the one that Rebecca was talking about, not the 684. She was talking about the 689. So
Okay.
they should be valid. It was an issue and it was fixed. We are at the end of the questions. But usually what happens is we give you a minute or two and more pop in.
This happened to me, and we lasted another 30 minutes last
I
week,
know.
Gary.
Here we go. Question 2 from Larnie. Just curious, the course 640F2 course identified as special education with general ed students enrolled error is validating SPED students with MEET records. What if the student has a MEET record, but the eligibility is not participating or not enrolled or not eligible? Is there an additional validation to this certification error to verify if the student is or is not SPED? This may be one we need a ticket for because I think we have to check dates and things.
I don't know. Did Dom mute herself?
This is the one where the course has a 700 special education classification and it should not have any general ed students in it. So if there's any general ed students, it So these are students that maybe were SPED and now they're not participating or not enrolled as or not eligible as SPED.
Or they didn't have a SPED meeting date as of census day. They had, yeah, they didn't have a meet record as of census day. It may have happened like a little bit after.
So check the dates, Larnie. But if it doesn't make sense, go ahead and put a ticket in and we can look at it.
And Larnie said that could be two. So yeah.
And Rocky is asking a Q1 about how's the new data guide coming?
Is that Sue Ann in disguise?
I know.
You have to specify on the data guide there.
Yeah. Is it the SPED data guide or the regular data guide? Well, that one's
I thought it's
out of date
quiet.
too.
I can say the SPED data guide is still a bit off, but it's
I-
going to be a priority soon.
Before I go back to Angela, we really got to remember what Paula said.
Oh, Rocky says the regular one, not that he doesn't do SPED. LOL. So how's the regular one coming, Sean?
Yeah. So the regular one it's a little on hold basically right now. Do we know that it needs to get worked on? Yes. There are other things that keep popping up in front of it? Yes.
I think Rocky reminded us last time that she's a she, not a he.
Oh, I don't know if I called you a he, but if so,
I
sorry.
think Gary
Yes.
did.
Oh, I'm
Oh, okay.
sorry. I'm a big Rocky fan from the movie. Sorry. I was a teenager when that movie came out.
Mhm. Just need a shirt that it says that like my pronouns are mom, bruh, dude. Like, yeah, that's gonna be mine.
I've been to Philadelphia several times and seen the Rocky statue because my son lived right by it. Um, Q1 from Jaime. I have a follow-up question about reporting college credit courses. In our district, we have some students who take courses at Butte College through a program called concurrent enrollment. And there's a link there. Since a formal application process is required between the high school and the community college, would the LEA be required to report these courses to CALPADS? Thank you for your help. Rebecca says, from the mini college level courses guide, all are those where the LEA school has courses open for students to enroll in. This is not when a student takes a college course independently on their own that has no association or oversight with the school or LEA.
That's what the data guide says, and that is correct. Yeah, so based on who can participate, uh, I'm sorry, I don't know who asked the question.
Jaime?
Jaime, so based on who can participate, I would say no, this doesn't have an association with the specific LEA. But again, those are agreements that we don't see here at CDE. So I would talk to your either curriculum and instruction directors, or sometimes maybe your HR, if they're not HR, your fiscal, because they're on the business side of the house, of who actually has that agreement. And all you just have to do is, and they should be telling you all, not the other way around, honestly. Because those courses should already be listed in your SIS for you to just be able to pull. Because those courses are then they're being offered to the students. And then they have some type of transcript where those courses are then logged and credited for.
And she adds, in order to participate, the high school has to give permission.
Yeah, I can't say that. I can't say with absolute certainty because it could be the high school just has to give permission to say that it's not, conflicting for attendance reasons.
Okay, and she says thanks.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Before we get to Carla's Q2, Rebecca Aguila, I did find that we did have a bug fix go in yesterday for 689, so that might explain why you got that new one that popped up.
All right. Carla has a Q2. In the Fall 2 Report 4.3 staff assignment, there are some sections marked as no in the EL enrollment columns, but our SIS course enrollment extract includes an education service code of 5, no English learner services. I have informed our vendor that since the sections had no EL students on CBED's day, the education service column should not be populated. It appears the extract is populating the column because an EL student enrolled in the section after CBED's day. However, based on my understanding, we should only populate the education service column if the section had EL students on CPED's day. For the Fall 2 report, I believe that would be correct. Okay.
I agree with you, Gary. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless it's a required field. We know if it's, I don't know off the top of my head.
I thought it was, though. We'll move on and I'll come back to that one.
Yeah, it would have to be census data. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Q1 from Sarah. I'm getting a SCSE 0139F2 missing course section record for 2 students on independent study. I guess that's the IS. This is my first year doing IS, so I'm not sure what I'm missing. I looked at the student's record in CalPads and the courses were there. How do I resolve this? Missing course section. So on the student's records, you may see a SCSE record, but if you look at the course section and go and look at the courses themselves, is that course section there, and is it the right school? Sometimes the students, yes. Um, this,
If I may add, Gary.
go ahead,
So
Kyron.
the field is validated should match between the SCSC record and the course that's in CalPad. So if I were you, I would open up the SCSC record that was rejected and then open a new window for CalPads, go to course data, and then copy the local course ID. You'll notice that sometimes the academic year might be different. And
That's,
yeah, or
that
academic term code.
that's probably one of the bigger ones, is if that academic term doesn't match. But if that doesn't help, go ahead and put a ticket in and we'll dig into that one more. Q1 from Nicole. SDEM 689 for staff on leave. I've added an extra date before census day. Do report the SAS code 27, including FTE more than 0 and 6018. Now I have a SAS 685 F2 error. We may need a ticket on this with the seed number of the staff to dig in a little deeper on this one. They exited before census day.
If the STEM record was exited before census day and the staff assignment record is as of census day, that SAS
Yeah.
685 is triggering correctly, right?
Right. Right. So if they weren't there on census day, you wouldn't put an assignment. But that's another one that we can dig into if that doesn't make sense. The service ticket. Q1 from Doug. I am noticing that when I am reviewing discrepancies and click on the Save Reviewed button, I have noticed that an error returns stating error updating flag. Are you aware of this? I see that indicator status changes, but it is troublesome to have to close the window when in the past it just closed. This is happening to me on ERDs and CCEs, says Stephanie. I haven't run across that yet, but I
I
don't
have
know that
not
I've tried
either.
it.
So if Doug, if you want to put in a ticket, we can try to reproduce it on our end.
Sarah says she'll put in a ticket. Okay. And Carla says she's going to send documentation. Okay. Okay. Well, we still got quite a lot of time left.
Angela, I think it's required because of the language of instruction code.
The Ed service code.
Yeah,
Uh,
if you look at the requirements in the CFS,
under that last column, it says required.
it doesn't say required. It says if record type equals CRSC, the contents of this field will not be stored in CalPADS. But then if you go to the next field down, it's saying if the record code equals the CRSC and the education service code equals 1. So, because it's validating basically, then yes, they have to put it in, and then no, they don't.
Is that
So
the
is it
course
because they're
completion?
valid?
Course completion and not course enrollment?
No, I'm just in the course section. Wait, I'm sorry. What'd you say?
You were saying CRSC and not CRSE?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's just not stored though. That's all that it's saying. But that's what I'm saying. That's why I think it is. It's not stored for CRSC, but when you look at the validation one below, then is it requiring it because it's validating off of those two fields? Is my question.
It says N, right? First, so N means no, it's not required, and then it just gives a little more context. I'm in the Word version, not the Excel version.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a Q1 from Rigoberto. Fall 2 question. For self-contained classes, we understand it is okay for the departmentalized course standards grade level range code to be blank. But for fields tied to the department range code, like CRS content standards alignment code and middle school course setting indicator, is okay to leave them blank. I always go to the CFS, and there's a little logic depending on how it's populated and which fields need to be required and not required, depending on how it's populated with which codes. And that's in the CFS under the course section.
A middle
Contents.
school, middle school course setting indicator. It does not mean what most people think that it means. It doesn't just mean like if the kid's in middle school and it's a core class, we mark that yes.
Yes,
That's
and Rebecca added if it's equal to mid, then that's what I was trying to mention. Your option is yes or no.
yeah,
Don't leave it blank. But
yeah.
it kind of explains it if you look at that part there, the required part, and it could depend on what you put in the course, the other standard grade level range code as well. You usually have to read those 2 or 3 times before they make sense, because I think there's a double knot that could be confusing.
And we agree. It's Roberto. I'm like, that's honestly what Angela and I were just looking at and comparing.
Yes.
The middle school course setting is always quite the concept in training as well. I think this is just it's a complicated one.
Yes.
I always want to know. I'm like, can we rename this?
Q1 from Sonoan via Terry in the chat. Would it be good practice to have educational services filled for all sections at all times, regardless of whether an EL student attends?
Yes, typically, yes, because if you have an EL student that enrolls into that course, and that's what made me think that yes, it is required. Great question, Sen. Yes, because if a EL student enrolls into that course, then it's already populated and based on the teacher's clad, and based on the services the services that should be provided to the students, and then to the teacher's clad. I needed to say that in the right order.
I have an answer for Sarah at Coast Unified for her SCSE 139 error.
Yes.
That one can be a little bit tricky. I do see that you have a course section record for that class. When you're on the data discrepancy screen and when you're looking at the error details grid, there's a view button all the way to the right. And if you open that, it'll tell you specifically which record, and it gives you a little bit more information. It pulls up the entire SCSE record. And so in your case, um, the SCSE record was the academic term of semester 1, but when I go to map, I can navigate you to where I went home, go back to the CalPADS page under online maintenance course data. If you go to this screen and put in the section ID that's given you grief, I see that it's a full year course. So because of those academic terms are different, it's rejecting it. So you want to make sure that for that section ID, the student's course records match up to the parent course record on the academic term.
Yes. Kyron was right. It was the academic term.
Yeah. This one's always tricky, and these 5 fields need to match in CRSE and SCSE records to avoid it. And you need to post the CRSE record before you post the SCSE record as well, because we need to have a parent record before we have the child record in the hierarchical kind of terms.
Okay. Next
prior to April 2022, the system forced you to do that, but now it's a little bit more lenient. So just a good practice now, just to remember that put the parents in before the children.
I came around during the redesign, so this is the only way I know, Angela.
Okay, Q1 from Eric. Sorry, I joined in a little late and did not hear any of the updates you provided at the beginning of the session. Can you please go over them again if we have time? Thanks. So we didn't have a lot of announcements at the beginning other than thank everyone for getting Fall 1 completed. And we talked about the Fall 2 deadlines, and hopefully everyone has their Fall 2 errors all fixed by the 7th. So it gives you plenty of time to review the reports and then get completed by the 28th. And there is no amendment window for Fall 2. Q1 from Annette. Which CalPADS report should I use for students completing CTE courses? That would be the end of year 1. Wait, I'm not thinking right now. Ooh, these are the ones I used to.
That's okay, because I don't remember them either, Gary.
3.19 and 3.20.
Yes, thank you. 19 and 20, 3.19 and 20. Thanks, Rebecca.
And you have to run them for the multiple years.
Done a lot of work with those reports. We've done a lot of work with those reports over the last few years.
It looks like the completers is 3.20, 3.15 is the non-completer participants.
Non-completers. Yes, thanks.
I'm trying to find the link.
The link?
Yeah. CTE puts out that guidance link that I verify every year. And I'm like, oh, where is it? But go for it. I'll put it in there. Don't worry.
Okay. Q1/2 from Sonoan. Would it be possible to have a button that forces a DD run? I think we get this question every once in a while.
I can tackle that one, Gary.
Okay.
So yeah, it comes up internally from time to time as well. What we decided to do first was convert as many as possible cert errors to the data discrepancies with the expectation that that would speed up the revisioning. And at least from what I saw with Fall 1, that seemed to have helped quite a bit. I saw people getting 4 to 5 revisions a day versus 1 to 2. So it's not off the table that would add that, on-demand type feature, but it seems less relevant now that people are getting multiple revisions a day.
Q1 from Ethan. I got crossed up today because the course 530 and course 636 seem to contradict each other for the college credit state course codes like 9273. The difference between whether or not the departmentalist standards grades level range code is required or must be blank, or whether or not we populate the instructional code level with 23 or 24 credit, right? The actual Q1, a college credit state course code is sufficient to count towards CCE, right? Correct. Or do we need to also flag those with one of those 2 instructional level codes to count for CCIs? If you have one of the college credit course codes, then you wouldn't need to. But if you use one of the other codes, you can use those flags, and that will count for the CCIs.
Yes, and that's in the data guide. No, the
The
technical guide
technical
too.
guide, yeah,
Yes.
the dashboard technical guide that Matt's showing you there.
It is like if you haven't bookmarked that page, all right, it's your friend. It really is.
And Rebecca linked to it at 3:20 in the answered column in the Q&A. If
Oh,
you're
great,
looking for it.
thanks. Yeah, there you go. Thanks, Rebecca. Rebecca's our other CSIS/CDE backup person.
Oh, definitely so, especially when we need a link.
Yeah. Q2 from Rebecca. Do you require a ticket if we're having the same issue as Doug at 3:35 p.m. with the error updating flags? If he's putting in a ticket, you don't have to put in a ticket. If we have the problem, well, it'll be on the known
Although,
issues.
yeah, although Gary, Doug's was on the flagging it as in review screen, and since hers is on the anomaly screen, I think I do want a
Maybe
separate
so.
ticket
Oh,
for
yeah.
that, just so that we may send it up as 2 separate bugs and just keep them clean that way. If
Okay.
they were on the same module, I'd say no, I agree with you, but Doug said his was on marking it as in review.
Okay.
I mean, unless
Sounds
you,
good.
Doug, you were saying in review on the anomaly screen. If I was thinking the certification screen, but if yours is on the anomaly, can you let us know, Doug? And that way Rebecca won't have to put in a ticket.
Q1 from Tara. Got a response from Gary. That's me. um, for my ticket regarding a teacher on leave of absence, but was hoping to get live instruction on fixing this STEM 684 F2 error. I do have the FTE and a non-classroom based assignment of leave of absence, but not sure I understand to add a second non-classroom based job assignment. So again, there is a flash coming out on this, hopefully early next week sometime. A 5-page flash that should have a chart and scenarios and everything to help explain it in more detail. But basically, when you add a non-classroom based job assignment of a leave of absence 6018, you have a choice of adding up to 7 non-classroom based assignments on one staff assignment record. So the first one, you have your 6018, you can add 2 through 7 of what that teacher would do if it's a non-classroom based job assignment, whether it's a TOSA or whatever else.
If you think you've
Doug,
answered your last 684 question, Gary.
no. And Doug says his concern was related to reviewing the ERD discrepancies and CCEs.
Got it. Okay. I heard in review, my brain went to the cert screen. So yeah, Rebecca, no, since it's the same as Doug's, I'll just use his and we'll escalate that once we're able to reproduce it.
Q1 from Shelley. Sorry, I just joined. I just wanted to be sure that I have fall 2 correct. With 4 of my certificated staff that were on leave, I reported them as 100 FTE, but added the non-classroom code of employee on leave and then added sections under those teachers that didn't have students. Also, one of the teachers we thought would return, but we had another certificated employee with the students and she didn't return. With that, there are 2 teachers. Should I put that they were team teaching or should I take her off the section completely?
Uh-uh.
Go ahead, Sean.
Hold on. Sorry. I didn't fully. I just want to make sure I called you correct. With 4 certificates, yeah, they were on leave. For the 15, my classmates will invite those teachers that don't have students. And added sections for the teachers that don't have students. Okay, so but you added sections for the teachers that don't have students. And so but if there's no if that section is blank and there's no students, then that teacher isn't providing instruction. And so that teacher isn't actually, she's on that, he or she, they are on leave with your LEA, but they are not reported then to CalPADS for teacher assignment monitoring and CalSAS purposes. Okay, they're not completing the requirements to gain a year of service credit. So therefore, that teacher should have an end date on that record. And Shelley, I don't want to confuse anyone, so I'm only speaking to your scenario, and I'm speaking about the 2 teachers that you added sections for. Okay, the other 2 teachers appear to be fine. But the 2 teachers that you added sections for, and those sections are like, I almost call them like placeholder sections because they don't have any students in them, then no, you wouldn't do that. You would end that teacher, and it's not the top date one, it's the one at the bottom. Because if I don't tell you it's the one at the bottom, then Gary's gonna scream at me. Because you're gonna put in a ticket and say, Sean said do this, and then he'll be like, no. So yeah, I'm sorry that turned into a rant. But you end date that employee record.
The second one, the main teacher of record never started and the sub was there the whole time.
Okay, and so then that goes back to, do they have a TPSL? Okay, if your LEA actually completed the TPSL with CTC, then the teacher of record is the teacher of record, not the substitute. And that's because of statute. However, if they did not complete a TPSL, then you're going to report, and then you're going to wait. And if they did not complete a TPSL and you have a teacher, you're saying that they never started. I understand they never started, but are they going to be teaching at any point in time during the academic year? If so, you report the teacher. If they are not going to be reported at any time during the academic year, then you report the substitute. And yes, that is in the flash. That's coming out. Angela asked for a table. I gladly put in a table.
We cannot wait for that flash.
You're me either. I didn't it didn't get like the other program office they weren't able to approve it until this morning.
Oh, okay.
And that was after like much back and forth.
Sure, I understand. Q1 from Mika. Does short-term enrollment take precedence over primary enrollment? We have a primary enrollment with our LEA and the short-term enrollment is with the county office. Our LPAC coordinator is trying to assess test settings in TOMS and it is grayed out.
I thought it did, but but the short-term enrollment is only for specific schools, like the juvenile court schools. And so if that student is enrolled there, then no, they would test there.
Right. And Shelley wants to know what TPSL stands for. Now, never mind, she says she found it.
Uh, uh, teachers, oh, TP. Never mind. Hold on. Again, this is me and acronyms. I'm sorry. It's statutory leave, and it's the teacher permit for statutory leave.
Great. And we're again at the end of the questions, but this time we've used the full hour up. So I think we're good to go for today. We'll be back again next week. There's a small rumor, but I don't know how true it is, that Alex might be back in February. I don't know. So for the Q&As, but we'll see. So that's all we have for today. Thanks everyone for helping us out, and thanks for all the LEAs that helped us out answering tickets or answering questions, I mean, and we will be back again next Wednesday at 3 o'clock.